Punjabi superstar Diljit Dosanjh returns to Vancouver this weekend. His Canadian tour dates are a sign of the growing market for Punjabi music in Canada. Another sign came at this year's Juno Awards. That is when Surrey's own Karan Aujla took home the 2024 TikTok Juno Fan Choice Award. He performed his hit Softly on stage at the Junos in Halifax. Here's what a little bit of it sounded like. So that is just a little bit of Juno winner Karan Aujla from Surrey. Now, he was performing on stage with Toronto music producer Ikky, and Ikky has also worked with Aujla on a number of tracks, and Icky's been good enough to join us this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, man. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. What a scene it was on that stage. What was it like to be up there?
Insane. You know, it's just it's things I guess you don't really think of or dream of, and then I'm up there now, and it's just like, wow, like we're here.
And I mean, the Juno win is that's just one sign of the rise of Punjabi music in Canada. I mean, what is driving the success of the genre in this country today, do you think?
I think obviously our mass population is driving a lot of the boat, but at the same time I feel like more and more we've been able to shift sounds, and I would say a couple of years ago the trend was to try to westernize it to get to the western side, but I feel like more and more we've been able to get closer to our roots, and apparently that's working. So I don't really know why we're catching this wave, but now that we are, I'm gonna keep taking it there.
And you do tell me about how you see the genre changing then, because this is not your parents' music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started at least in my career with a lot of different ways, but I did take what my parents were listening to and how they perceive music into consideration, and that is what's seemingly working right now. Per se, I'm not using those exact instruments and stuff like that, but to get the feel and the lyrics and the compositions, those are, I think, more and more familiar with my parents, but at the same time kids that are just born, right? So that hybrid, I guess, right now is coming easy because me and someone like Karan grew up in that situation.
Right. And we see so many collaborations with Punjabi artists, with South Asian artists. I mean, Diljit and Sia together doing a track together. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the world is opening up, and where we've got attention right now, so I feel like we're just gonna do collaborations and figure out how to get in the rooms with certain people and really expand this beyond just music.
And tell me about the affinity that there is toward hip hop music in the South Asian community, because you see a lot of interpretations of what might be classical or traditional Punjabi songs that end up being hip hop songs.
Right. I don't know. I think hip hop came at the right time, even for me. Like, I feel like a lot of people's version of hip hop is, from Tupac and Biggie, but my version of hip hop was Drake, right? So I feel like our community kind of relates with that culture, of struggle and putting that in the music, right? And commercializing our struggle. So I feel like it's not just it's not just the music. It's kind of really the culture of hip hop that we resonate a lot with, and so I feel like when we make music in hip hop, it just sounds right.
Well, that's it. And tell me about that. I mean, as a producer, what is that like? Kind of transposing one over the other, or where do the ideas come from when you're trying to build a song?
Well, I've never actually gone into the studio ever and thought of like, all right, let's make a hip hop song or let's make a pop song.
Yeah.
You kind of just go you kind of just go to make a song, right? And to me, even nowadays, like I try to turn hip hop into pop, and by pop, I mean just popular, right?
Yeah.
I want my music to be popular, right? I'm by no means do I want to be a niche producer or artist, And so I feel like when you go with that thought process of like, yo, I'm just making a song, if you're kind of genreless at that point, right? It's not even hip hop. Like I struggled for a really long time. Everyone used to call me hip hop Punjabi producer, and I was like, but I'm just a producer, you know. So I did the right things, I guess, musically to then change being a hip hop Punjabi
Yeah.
producer to just being producer, right? So there's just a lot of I'd say trial and error, right? With a lot of the music is like figuring out like personally, I feel um jazz music is such a big part of my musicality in terms of mixing Punjabi music with something, I'd mix it with jazz music, right? So
Wow.
it's like I go in the studio not thinking hip hop or pop, I'm thinking jazz chords, but with maybe a hip hop feel of drums, but not maybe a trap kit using a different type of kit. I don't know, just like you're like it's not even mixing just cultures, right? You're just mixing everything in one pie and trying to make something good out of it.
That's got to be so much fun. I mean, that's got to be so satisfying when you hear the result of that.
Well, it's like playing, right? You're like
Yeah.
just if I feel like when I'm making music that I like is it brings me back to like when I'm if I'm playing tag or something, you're just happy to see where this is going. You're happy to see um like the progress of it, right? When a
Yeah.
song comes out, that's cool. You see the results, it's a hit, cool. But uh something like Softly, when I was making it that was just really fun to make. And because I had the most fun making that song, I to me it felt like that's gonna be the biggest song, and that's what ended up happening, right? It just when something feels good, like that's just the one.
I want to talk just again briefly about Diljit Dosanjh because I mean, we've got Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, and Vancouver, of course. I was just looking up tickets in Vancouver. You can get a couple of seats in front row for about 14 grand.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable. I mean, this is what people are willing to pay for the Rolling Stones.
you dude, it's our culture has been thriving for a lot of years, and now that we get to see it in fruition, we want it. You know what I'm saying? We want to spend that type of money and we want to make that type of money. It's the reality is like it's not that the artists are for the first time experiencing something like this for our whole culture, like the G opening up doors in the Scotiabank Arena 2 years ago, and then
Yeah.
Coachella last year, and now Rogers Center. Like those are things we never had. Those are things like when I took my parents to the arena show 2 years ago, they'd never been in the arena ever, right? So there's kind of like there's a bug in us now that's like, you know what, I'll go out of my way to pay whatever to see this because it's not just I'm seeing an artist, it's an experience, it's cultural relevance, it's going somewhere and there's 20,000 other brown people that you can just dance with. And so it's just fun, man. Our community is getting to see that light of day now.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And what is next for you, Icky? I mean, do you have like a dream collaboration in mind? Is it Drake?
I guess the Drake will be the dream collaboration, but no, man, I take everything by the day. It's really just about Punjabi music to me now. I really just want this progress that we're building right now to
Yeah.
not end. It's like we have the momentum, but it's so easy to lose the momentum that I just want to make sure that we keep pushing. That's it. That's my dream.
Well, you make amazing music, man, and I really appreciate you coming on with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my bro.
Okay, you take care.
You too.
Bye. That's Punjabi Canadian music producer Ikky, Ikwinder Singh, if you prefer. And here's his latest release.
ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਓ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਵੇ ਸੋਹਣਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਓ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਓ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਓ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾ ਜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਓ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਬਿਨਾ ਜੀ
That is producer Ikky